think it was Deep in the Pocket, which is an angsty college football romance.
As all, you know,
Yeah,
foundational novels should be. I mean, I
right.
feel like that you hit all the buzzwords.
I need to know why you just think that was your first published book.
Oh, it was either that one or another in that series called Hard Edge, which is an angsty college hockey romance.
I think the first one that I did was something that I auditioned for on ACX. And
Nice.
so I think I auditioned and I didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, you know what? Let's do a royalty share. Let me see what it's like. I'm going to edit my own thing. I want to learn what it takes to put a book up in this medium because I had only done voiceover work before, but that was like going to a studio and having an engineer and, having a 2-hour session and being out for like a commercial or something. And so I did one and it was called Bluff, and it was like a thriller, sort of thriller, about a woman in a coma and she's sort of thinking back to who put her in a coma, is kind of what the story was. Yeah. And the author was Lenore Scommel. And you know what's crazy is I think she wound up putting it on as a play in New York. That was my first one. That was like
Wow.
10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago. Okay, so I feel like every narrator has their own tried and true, or they're still discovering, like, there's an element of what their process is that's maybe not working so well. And so they're like going through whatever that list of thing is that works. Um, and so for me, the things like I can't be too hungry and I also can't be too full because otherwise I have a very, very active digestive system that I didn't know I had until I started narrating, where all of a sudden I was like, I can't believe the sounds my body makes. So I find fruit and like light carbohydrates, like things that aren't too gluteny, like I can't do a rye, I can't do like harder. This is how scientific it's gotten. Okay, bear with me. I could do like white breads or like a sourdough, like toast with butter. Fruit, I can do all different kinds of fruit, but anything really more than that, and my stomach screams at me because it just needs a lot more to digest, I guess. And so it's just like every time it's in like a particularly fussy moment, I'm like, why hasn't somebody just invented like a I don't know, like a covering over your digestive tract so that you can't hear anything? And then I start to like fantasize and daydream about what that would entail. And it's sort of like one of those like x-ray. It would be like one of those like when you go to an x-ray and they like put those really super heavy things on you and you're like, I'm weighing down to get my x-ray so that I protect all my organs while they take an x-ray. I feel like it should be one of those, right? I don't know what that's made of. I don't know what's in that, but that's sort of where my fantasy mind goes. Okay. And then secondly, mouth noises, like if my lips get too parched or something, then anytime I move my lips, it makes like little crackle, crinkle, whatever sound. So for me and everybody, I know because I ask everybody because I like to catalog what people use because I just find it fascinating. And I've tried lots of different lip balms or like something to sort of hydrate your lips, and none of them work as well as Aquaphor in my gigantic tub. That I just dab a little bit, apply, and then keep with me. It's trusty. And then for drinks, I know this is a super long answer. Always water, room temp. Sometimes I put lemon or a lime because acid is really great for my mouth. And then I will do either a tea, and that could be anything from like the yogi teas or like a throat coat tea or something, depending on where I'm at. And then I also like the more acidic. Acidic, once again, works for me. Like the Tazos, they have like a hibiscus or a wild orange. Today I have wild orange. You're welcome for my very long answer.
So I can eat and drink whatever I want because the only risk is if I eat too much pirate's booty, then the crumbs get in my keyboard. So instead of not eating pirate's booty, I bought one of those like compressed air condensers so I can eat my beloved pirate's booty while I'm writing. And my beverage of choice, there is a bar near my house that comes up in the Brady family books that Carly narrated called Goodlander, and they have started calling me the writer in residence, and they gave me their Wi-Fi, and I sit there and I drink bubbly mojitos while I edit.
That sounds delightful.
It's so refreshing. Oh, it is so hard for me because I have three sons. I have a husband who also works from home, and I feel like I really always need to concentrate. So I first have to just decide what time of day I'll be writing. Like when I wake up, I'll look at my schedule and decide what time of day is my writing time. And I need to do that to like prepare my brain that it's gonna get into the zone. And then I have tried so many times to write elsewhere, but I really can only write from one specific spot on my couch.
How
So
interesting.
yeah, so I get my water, get my pirate's booty, and I sit in the one area of my couch and I pull up my Scrivener at the predetermined time of day, and then I can go.
I think it is now so muscle memory for me because I record every single day. And I have the added like element of a booth. So I can literally walk inside my booth, I shut the door, and then this is my space where I work. So the second I'm in here, right, and it's quiet, it's my own space. It's the only space in my home where nobody else is really here unless they're bothering me, which happens frequently. But essentially it's my space. And so I'm in here and I have a couple of other ritual things that I do. Like I keep the lights super low. You can tell like my booth itself is sort of like a medium dark gray. And so everything is very calming. And part of that is because, as most people know, booths can get very warm, like my own body heat just in general. And so I keep the lights off for eye strain, for fatigue. I just find like cool, dark just helps to energize me. And so all of those elements just kind of like fit my brain. And now it's just muscle memory. And I just like from the word, I just leave everything and dive into the performance.
I'm picturing adding the lead vest to this to this ritual. But you'd have to find one that would somehow breathe as well.
Yeah, I
So
was gonna say
so
maybe
you
it
wouldn't
has
be
some like
hot.
really nifty cooling technology or something like that. So
Yeah.
it can like calm and soothe your torso area. And maybe it's like part of that. Maybe it's like an anxiety blanket or something, like the weighted blankets.
But you not too weighted because then you couldn't breathe
You
properly.
can't move.
Yeah.
So it's very complicated. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
imagine the fantasies that go on in my brain as I invent this for a very small niche market.
Yeah.
I remember a time when I read for pleasure, and it is a very long time ago, but outside. So definitely a beach, sunny day, waves, wind. Ah, sounds like heaven. I'm inside too much.
I am very pale and I hate the sun. I always burn. And when you read at the beach, like if you have a paperback, it gets full of sand, it gets all moist. So I would pick inside every time. I gotta go animals. I have pet bunnies and I would love to know what they're thinking. I would love for them to tell me things about their day. Animals.
I mean, wow, that I want both, but I'll go plants just to be contrary and like specifically go to like the Sequoia National Forest and speak to thousands of year old trees I couldn't even imagine what their language would be because they're
But
all
that-
connected underground. Imagine, right, that they've got
Yeah.
like some secret pathway to
Yeah.
communicate with plants, 1,000 miles away or something.